Hi, welcome back. Today we have another reaction video. This guy really hated the Star Rail Fate Collab. Gotcha's biggest wasted opportunity so far. I loved the Fate Collab. I thought it was really good, and I want to actually tell you why I think it's really good, but I want to wait to hear what he says, see if I agree with anything. I've not seen this video before. It's funny, it says GoatLiffy. I actually thought it was GoatLiffy, and I was offended. I hate One Piece, if you didn't know. But what we're going to look at today is we're going to subscribe because it is going to be a reaction. So I will probably talk during the video because I'm not sure. If there's a point I disagree with or agree with, I will comment on it because, you know, this is I'm supposed to add something to this, so that is my full intention.
With the Fate Collab's limited spotlight duration ending, I think it's time we address the big question of the collaboration. Did it hit or did it miss?
I think it hit.
On my very personal side, I want to keep it very simple to start this video off. I enjoyed the event itself. I think the Divergent Universe branch off that they did to incorporate Fate combat elements was fun. The way they maintained the feel of a Divergent Universe type of endgame and how it made the collab characters, Saber and Archer, that much more fun to play.
They did.
Being said, I mostly played with Saber because farming the quantum set sucks and I legit haven't gotten anything for Archer even now, but nevertheless,
I actually got
Divergent Universe branch. The collab characters themselves probably exceeds what you expect from...
You know what's really funny is I actually had a lot of cool things with Archer. I got his light cone and stuff too. But with Saber, I actually got 2 Sabers, and I just got really lucky with my pulls, so I was able to get one of her like mirrors done. I'm not having good luck with getting Kafka though. Please, Kafka, mommy, please come home. All right. Anyway, so I actually had a great time with both of these characters, but we'll see.
Oh, you to begin with. They definitely learned from Alloy. Not that there was anything else that they should take from that other than don't make collab units beyond useless and gave Saber and Arc.
I actually don't know anything about that game.
They learned from Alloy.
Alloy?
There was anything else that they should take from that other than don't make collab units beyond useless and gave Saber and Archer very...
I don't play a lot of gacha games.
Above all, the design and skill animations. Bringing in the original concept.
The only gacha games I've ever played was some stupid anime game on the phone, and of course I didn't spend money on it, but it was fun to get like a bunch of the anime characters, and I played with a friend. The Star Rail was the first gacha game I ever played in the Holio universe, and I only played it, like, I started playing like 3 days before this collab happened, and I only played because Fate was coming, and I love Fate. Like, it's my 11th favorite anime of all time. So I was super excited, especially the Fate / Stay Night is my favorite version. So, you know, Fate Zero, Fate Unlimited Blade Works, the anime, not the movie. And then Heaven's Field. But again, Heaven's Field is my my least favorite in the series. But again, the Fate / Stay Night is my favorite version of Fate. But yes, I have seen a whole bunch of them, if not all of them. And I know all the timelines. I can teach you. I swear, I can teach you in a way that doesn't make you want to tear your hair out. And I'll probably make a video on that eventually. All right.
Artists to design them and then having them utter their full Noble Phantasm lines for their ults. I got friends who wanted to stand at attention when Archer started doing his.
Yeah, the Unlimited Blade Works Fantasia as like the ultimate moves was brilliant, and also Saber's you know, massive sword move was fantastic. It's like when she's in Fate Zero, like slicing down the Holy Grail. It was really good.
Give him out for free is also nice.
It was nice, yes.
Far longer than what people expected is also a very good move on their part.
I agree.
This gives people the opportunity to not be left out, and over the span that they plan to keep the collab here, it also gives people a chance to get Archer's LC with the 200 pulls if they wanted to.
I did.
Honestly, the more I went through the collab, and I kind of came in late after just pulling for the characters because I still had to catch up with Euphorius, I'm honestly finding more and more things to like about the collab. But it's just unfortunate from my end because even though I know that I am finding more fun as I go through the whole event, there is that one lingering thought at the back of my mind that will never allow me to fully say, okay, that was a good collab. And that is the fact that the collab had been missing Shiro, and most importantly for me, the absolute queen of Tsunderes herself, Rin Tosaka.
Okay. So one of his big points that he wants to say is because it's missing characters. So the collab was announced last year, and like I said, I'm a new Star Rail player. I had no idea Saber or Archer was ever coming to Star Rail. In fact, it was a guy that convinced me to play Star Rail at Anime Expo, and they had a giant Saber thing, and I was like, wait, is Saber and Star Rail? And he's all like, yes, Saber's coming to Star Rail in like 4 days. And I instantly, like, I went home from Anime Expo, and the next day I started streaming Star Rail. You can see my Star Rail stream. It's in the live section. I taped all of it for you guys, right? I think it's one of the best games I've ever played in my life, and I'm so glad I found it. But I had such a bad impression of gacha games before this. Yeah, just it didn't have Rin Tosaka, and she's one of my favorite Fate characters. She's like the mascot of Fate. She's in a whole bunch of them, if not all of them. And it's just like, you can't put Emiya, you can't put Rin. The characters people are going to remember most from Fate Stay Night, even though Rin is heavily prevalent in it, and so is Emiya, is going to be Saber and Archer. They chose the right two characters. I guarantee you, if they went with anything else, it wouldn't have been as great. Would I have liked these characters? I would have loved these characters. I would have made a Fate team. I swear. It would have been Emiya, Archer, it would have been Rin, and Saber, and that would have been my team. Other than maybe switching out March 7th, because she is a complete treasure. But yeah, I don't know if they could do that. That would be a lot of resources, in my opinion. A lot more than they would be willing to do. And they already did a lot with the Fate Collab, like making a whole Holy Grail like battle tournament and also a story mode. I thought that was I liked the story mode. I'll go more into it if he talks more about it. But I think asking them to put 2 more characters in this would have been a large ask.
Look, I don't think anyone can blame me for this. When I saw the announcement for the Fate collab that 1 year ago, the very thing that I immediately tunnel visioned into was the very fact that it was a Fate Unlimited Bladeworks collab.
Yeah,
And
true.
naturally, it being my absolute favorite route, because having
It's my favorite route too.
in any franchise is an absolute win in my book. I immediately thought to myself, holy shit, Rin with HSR graphics and animation? Ladies and gents, sign me and my bank account up.
I'm not gonna lie. He's making me want it so badly now. He's right about this, but I think it's unfair to hold Star Rail accountable for it. But I would have loved Rin on my team. I would have.
And if they wanted to get Kana Ueda, Rin's original JP voice, into the fray,
She's fantastic.
probably wouldn't fret because she voiced Yoimiya in Genshin.
She.
To top it off,
Oh
she
wow!
was
I haven't played
also
Genshin.
Kanisha's VA, so they
Oh,
already had
interesting.
access to them in the first place. So when I then
Yeah.
get a message from my friend who's usually quite on point about who's not in a future version of Star Rail, and he said to me that Rin is not going to be part of the Fate collab, my enthusiasm for the collab just kinda dropped, because that right there is half the reason why I wanted to see this collab come into fruition in the first place. And it only fell a bit further when the
I like
collab
Saber, though,
was
and I like Archer.
announced, confirming that Rin was indeed not a playable character. And to me, it was so unfortunate because even before Braxavon had said in his stream or channel, I had already thought of the notion that the way they can make the collab characters is by giving them the Clara treatment. Have Rin and Shiro be sort of the main avatars of the characters, I guess, and then have Archer and Saber respectively be the one to chime in and handle the heavy business as they do like in the anime. And with how
Oh, that would have been cool.
ended up being,
That would have been cool.
Fei Shao thing where Archer does the basic skills itself, while Rin is the one who executes the follow-up attack or something. I feel like it was a nice concept to have and kind of a straightforward one to begin with. So while yes, I appreciate and find it very cool that we ended up with the characters and kits that we have, there's just nothing for me to fill that tsundere void that could have been Rin.
Oh, he's
Imagine being able to build an app.
of course the commercials. He is simping so hard for Ren. That's okay. I mean, she's a waifu, but
And the fact
alright.
that her pendant of all things was the only thing about her that
Oh, I didn't even notice that you could get her pendant.
And the fact that her pendant of all things was the only thing about her that physically made it to the game.
I
was kinda
didn't.
like a
I didn't
further
know
kick
you
also.
could do that.
That just now was mostly what really bummed me out about it. But of course, there's some community notes that I want to talk about. And most of them has somewhat to do with lack of proper execution in some parts of the event. The general consensus that I've seen from the community is that for HSR players, the collab was fine. But for Fate players, it was kind of a disappointment. Mostly because there are arguments to be made that the Fate players were expecting a bit more Fate in the collab, while the Star Rail players...
Okay, so I disagree with this. I jumped into Star Rail just to get Saber. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna pretend. I was like, you're gonna have Saber. You're gonna have Archer. Sign me up. And they're from Unlimited Blade Works. They're not from a different timeline. Or so. Sign me up. Sign me up now. They're not from Heaven's Field. Sign me up. I was very happy with the collab as a Fate player, and I was not originally a Star Rail player. By the time I got to the Fate portion, right, and it was about 3 weeks after I started playing, I got to be able to do the Fate stuff because you have to finish Pelcony first. I thought the story was way better than what I imagined it would be. I thought we would get like a little thing. I was expecting a very dinky thing. But the lore that they encapsulated into the Pelcony Holy Grail War was on par with the actual show. I even looked for it. I couldn't find a thing that would be like lore breaking. It felt like a continuation to Unlimited Blade Works. It really did. With new characters, does not Emiya, does not Ren, but it felt like a continuation with the lore of the way Saber and Archer talk to each other, and the way they discussed how, like, mana is different here, and how they're not as powerful as they normally are. And they even had memories of the last Holy Grail War and stuff. I thought it was very on point with what I would want a sequel to be. Of course, I would want Emiya and Ren in there, but I mean, with different characters, it was like the lore was on point, and I guess that's why I want to say. Even with Lancer, like it was great.
Knew it was probably just going to be HSR with a dash of Fate. And I can definitely see the point on both sides. After all, it is Fate coming into HSR instead
Exactly.
of the other way around, which I think is already the best way to do it, because comparatively, if you were to try and drag HSR players to more
True.
stuff, then they're just gonna have a brain hemorrhage, because the Fate universe is dicey, to say the very least.
Again, I can explain it without you tearing out your hair, and maybe I'll do a video on that. I've seen people try, and I think I can do it better, maybe. So, I will maybe really think about doing a video like that. So,
Even that's probably a massive understatement. How do I explain to the general public that Leonardo da Vinci is a woman and at some point also a lolly in the Fate universe? Yeah, so it's kind of like if I were to drag a Stranger Things fan to go and watch Doctor Who.
That's true.
Find a scenario where that's probably gonna end well. But
It's funny that they said Doctor Who, because I'm the doctor of anime, which I took directly from Doctor Who, when it was good and not trash like it is now. But yeah, fantastic. Good analysis, my friend.
it's also not wrong for the Fate people to expect a bit more in the collab, because one, the collab itself was announced quite a while ago. When
It was.
has comparatively announced their collabs at most only months before launching it.
Now, like I said, I wasn't around for HSR when it was announced a year ago, and I guess they had people on the hook for a long time. They thought they would get it a lot sooner. But yeah, I've just recently come to HSR, and like Fate was available 3 days after I started playing. Like, literally. I got Archer for free the day it came out, and I was like, hey! And I was only like Trailblaze level 7 or something. Yeah, but it was great.
In their game. And 2, we know that Hoyo has been working with Ufotable before the collab announcement.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know
They
that.
announced their collaboration working for the Genshin anime even longer beforehand. So
I did hear there was
it's
an anime
expected that
coming.
They can pull up something more for the scale of a collab. Of course, all this lacklusterness eventually made its way to the grievances regarding the story itself. Honestly, I've only played half of it so far, but from a Starrail perspective, I think the story is actually pretty fine. Well, of course, as some of the Fate players say, it was kinda irredeemable, which I can also...
Like I said, I would give it a 9 out of 10. I did not expect them to do as good a job as they were, and I'm a big lore guy, so when things... And it's funny, because I was a Doctor Who fan till became bad, and Doctor Who lore gets broken all the time. But when it comes to anime, I'm a big lore guy, and if you break lore, you lose my attention, and they did not break Fate lore at all. Like, it is solid, and I looked for cracks, and it is just solid.
So see why they would think that way. I don't want to talk about it too much just to avoid spoilers, but from the Starrail side, it was fine, but Scott and Grady were definitely 2 characters that I really could have done without a lot of understanding.
Now, in the story of Starrail right now, I'm cleaning up old quests because I caught up to the story. So I'm doing Papalfold University, and Grady is a character in Papalfold. In this collab, it seemed like Grady was a servant and that he was dead, and he's actually at Papalfold University, so I wonder if he's just a spirit that won't leave Peliconi. I guess I'll find out after I do my stream later today on finishing up Papalfold. But yeah, Grady came back, and I guess I didn't know who Grady was at all during this collab, and his power was actually pretty cool, and now I see him again in Paperfold University, so I'm playing out of order. I really am. But okay.
Even at the point where I am, they just have way too much screen time for a collab story. And of course, as everyone playing the collab would know, there are also complaints about Saber and Archer not having ENVAs, which was valid, because yeah.
Okay, so yeah, the voices... there's actually a very good reason why, and I did a research on this because, you know, silent characters in Starrail is actually a cardinal sin to Starrail, which I enjoy, by the way. Good on you, Starrail. The reason why we couldn't get the English voices for Saber and Archer, we'll do Archer first. Archer's voice actor is actually the same one that does Gojo in Jutsu Kaisen. I don't know why I blanked on that name, but I've met him several times. He has actually sponsored cons that I'm around, but he's gone on record and refuses to support or work with anyone that does not consider Taiwan its own country. And as you know, Starrail is Chinese. Taiwan is not a country to them. They're going to treat it like Hong Kong, and they think they should be able to walk in at any time and just declare it theirs. So that's why the English voice actor will not work with Starrail or Genshin or anything like that. As far as I know, he's not in Genshin, but he might have been with Genshin before this whole Taiwan thing. I have no idea. The other person who is Saber, and I've actually met her once or twice. She is licensed by, I think it's A1 Pictures or something like that. If I got the name wrong, it's one of those studios. But they are way into the voice actor and actress strike that happened. And she was not available to take anything that wasn't her studio, which I feel like it's A1 Pictures, but I could be very wrong. So you guys can look that up on your own. But she cannot take any, or she was not willing to take anything that wasn't done by her like direct studio, and because of this whole strike thing. But yeah, that's why they couldn't get the English voice actors. The Japanese voice actors and actresses are not restricted by that, but they did not have the option when the Fate Collab came out to switch to the JP. They do now. As far as patch 3.5, they do, because I turned on the JP voices and they sound great. They sound fantastic.
It was very weird to just have them voiceless if you were to play E and dub. But at the same time, I think someone said that their OGVAs are union people, and we know that that's a box that Hoyo probably wouldn't touch even with a 10-foot pole at the...
Yeah, so again, it wasn't I looked into this extensively. The voice actor for Archer wouldn't do it with anything Chinese. And like I said, the Saber voice actor was the union stuff.
Moment. And to begin with, the OGE and dub for Unlimited Blade Works was meh, to say the least. Can't really say we're missing out on much. That being said, they should have definitely thought of just mixing the dubs like they do now. Would have saved them a lot more trouble.
I agree.
Using pre-existing places and resources to have it become Britain or whatever is in fact...
A lot of people actually enjoyed the subs too, so if you can't get the English voice actors for English community, get the Japanese. There's a lot of us that really like the Japanese voices versus the English. Now, I watch anime for like my hobby and hopefully my career someday, alright? And I like watching both subs and dubs. I think both are great. I used to think dubs were terrible, just like any other anime fan, but they have gotten better. Since 2014, really, with Sword Art Online and going forward, they have been getting better and better. And to this point, not every anime, but most animes, I find it equally pleasant, both the English and the Japanese. Now, there are some animes I do prefer one or the other, like ReZero Starting Life from Another World is pretty much the same, but I know all the voice actresses on the English side, so it kind of makes me sway a little bit because I'm good friends with them. The Spy Family, I like the Japanese version more, way more. Anya is so less annoying, and I think Yor is better in the Japanese. The only thing, Lloyd in both the Japanese and the English are on par with each other. But yeah, the Japanese version is better for Spy Family, in my opinion. But like I said, there's some that are better in the English version, and there's some that's better in the sub version. To me, this depends on what anime is. It really is. English dub has come a long way.
Fairness to the dev team, something that most, if not all, gacha collabs from anywhere in the industry would do, which is kind of the microcosm.
What's that game?
Justification for why the collab is the way it is. And don't get me wrong, I've played a lot of collabs from a lot of different gachas. The scale in which StarRail had just done Fate is actually much bigger than what you would normally see from any.
That's my point. That's what I've been saying. Okay, I'm tending to agree with this guy more and more. I came into this video saying, nah, this bro is wrong. But no, yeah, this is a lot bigger than what most people would do in a gacha game, right? I played one gacha game before this, and their collabs weren't that good. I jumped in because of the collab, and I was like, it's pretty mid, and I thought this collab was great.
Gacha collabs out there. For instance, PGR collabed with Nier Automata, and they only added Nier characters to the game, and same thing with other games like Counter-Strike and Battle Cats, especially Battle Cats.
Wait, did Battle Cats have Sonic? I don't know what Battle Cats is. I assume it's a gacha game. But did Battle Cats have...
Then it's time to talk to your healthcare provider. With Entivio, you may...
They have so many collabs, but all they do is put characters from those other series into the game as playable. Well, supposedly cats, but most of them just kept their base design from their respective IPs.
That looks crazy.
Element of just having such a low bar of standard for gacha collabs out there, but for me,
maybe that was me.
Really cut it as the only reason, because why not try to make this collab as big as possible? This is the same company that made Simulanka as a temporary regent for an event.
I haven't played Genshin yet, so I don't even know.
Look at Simulanka. It was genuinely beautiful, expansive, and it was for an open world game. And I'm supposed to believe that they couldn't have whipped something up for StarRail? At least, one exclusive submap area?
We did get an exclusive submap area. We got Saber's hometown, but again, we didn't get to explore it. I guess that's what... Or... her hometown looks a lot like Finance. around, so maybe. But she said she grew up here, so we'll just take it. It was nice to come here, but we only like discovered a doll and then we were out. I don't know. I'm not upset with having the non-exclusive like area. We were in our ward, not Fate's ward. It would make little sense to have like a Saber-esque area. I mean, they did a good job with this. I was like leeching off the story here. I was like, this is so good.
Have this stay around for quite a while longer than most gacha collabs would anyway, so wouldn't that make sparing a temporary map area be a bit more worth it? That's really my thing with this collab. They could have used it to really up the ante in terms of what we can expect from gacha collabs going forward. That being said, there is one scenario, one very hopium scenario, that can completely give it reason for me to actually view this collab as a positive success. Hear me and my copium train out here.
I don't remember Sparkle being in it.
Itself is categorized as a Trailblaze Continuance questline.
Yep.
This kind of actually means that the story portion itself has a high chance of being a permanent part of Star Rail's kind of universal storyline.
Cool.
This is
That's
not
cool.
something that you usually see from gacha collabs. Usually, if the collabs do have story portions, they would return to the game in accordance to when the collab itself is rerunning, if it ever does. The fact that Star Rail's Fate story portion is most likely staying may be a clue to the notion that this is a collab that not only would be rerunning,
I think it would
also
be.
have a sequel.
It does look.
If you think
So
about it, the pieces are kind of already set for them. Pushing it.
I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking the same thing. So I opened that timeline thing he was just at by accident, and I noticed that there was an area that was question mark, the same one he was pointing at, and I was like, "Did I miss something in the collab?" Well, it's too late for me to go back now because the collab just ended, and I was all like, "I wonder if I missed something," but it said I did everything right, and I was all like, "Why is it question mark? Like this bothers me. I want to go see what it is," and now that he brings that up into a sequel, I'm so happy because maybe it is. It just depends how much people are crapping about it on the internet. If people keep crapping about it on the internet, they won't do it. If people like it, then they will do it. Like, why wouldn't they?
Every bit of Fate narrative in this portion of the collab would have definitely confused a lot of the only Star Rail playing players. But now, we are familiar with the Holy Grail, we are familiar with the servants.
Yeah, I think they did a great job.
They ended up being summoned and the roles in which they play alongside the Masters of the War. And that's kind of all they need to set it up.
And if they ever did the collab again, right? Maybe they introduce Ren, Tosaka, or Emiya. I mean, there's still possibilities, right?
Star Rail, a game set in space with wonky timelines where we can find ourselves in very random corners.
Yeah, I love the premise of Star Rail.
Aeons wills it. It wouldn't be far-fetched to think that we can end up in some form of a setting that could simulate the Earth, where another Holy Grail war takes place, with characters like Shiro and Rin being part of the roster. That's sort of both the strength and weakness of Star Rail setting. It's space and time, so the feasibility of any random place in the universe being visited is never, well, never. But at the same time, that's just it. It's random. We will always need some really good justification to explain why being there was worth doing for the Astral Express to begin with. Because if the cost ain't there, then it can really make for a flaky foundation for the entire storyline. But with the Holy Grail War now being a thing in the Express's databank, it's rather fitting that we might find ourselves amidst another war.
I hope so.
The circumstances of how we're involved shouldn't really be that difficult either. We're already introduced to Lancer, and we know he has a model set in the game. We can make it so that this time around, we pair up with him instead. And then Ren and Shiro can finally have their Clara...
That's what I just said.
Other playable collab characters.
Yeah.
Who cares if it ends up making two versions of Saber and Archer? We're about to have 3 Dan Hungs and technically, I guess, 3 Marshes. I certainly wouldn't mind 2 of those collab characters. And if we stay with the nature of Fate Unlimited Blade Works, then designing models for characters like Shinji, Sakura, Kirei, and even Shiro and Rin shouldn't be that big of a challenge for Hoyo's resources.
They shouldn't, but there's no way he or Sakura or Shinji right here, there's no way they're going to become playable characters. That's too many fake characters. I know that well, from this video, I know that Holyverse is, working with the Fate Studio pretty closely, but I don't see this happening. I don't. Rin is a maybe because she's such a mascot in the universe. Emiya, I could see Emiya or Shiro Emiya being in it. I don't think so though. He would be on a limb. She would be like, if they were to introduce one more fake character, it would be Ren. These guys have no chance. These three have no chance. So you can mark it right now on this page that Hinckley, the doctor of anime, says these guys have no chance.
They either guess
And then if they do, we can replay this video and I can be all like, I was wrong.
their professions or casual clothes.
But
of course,
I'm
if
not.
they ever want to push it, they could stand to give Rin and Shiro their coat-wearing appearances. Of course, if they get to the point where they'd have to design other unlimited blade work servants like
They're not.
Caster and Assassin,
Oh.
sure, that will get spicy.
So I'm not opposed that they won't get designed, okay? Like those three characters or these. I'm not saying that they won't be designed. I'm saying that they will not be playable. All right, so let's make this clear. If they do another Fate collab, I could see these guys getting models and being inside the story. I do not think that they are ever going to be playable. Those three back there and then these two.
See, but come on, this kind of storyline is sure to make for one hell of a collab. They just need to figure out which servant to give Kirei this time around. Maybe just have Mr. Giga Gilga be his servant.
That needs to happen. So Gilgamesh, I could definitely. So I said this before, and I haven't made a Fate video yet, so you guys haven't heard it. But I've said this for years. Gilgamesh is one of the greatest anime villains of all time. He is in Fate Zero, comes back in Fate Unlimited Blade Works. Plus, he's in other timelines as well. He is one of the best villains in all of anime, hands down.
Wouldn't that be a treat? Fate people, has that ever happened before? I feel like it would end up being a game of who would murder the other first. But yeah, for me, that's the kind of copium it would take for me to be able to fully be satisfied with this collab. It's unlimited blade works. What is unlimited blade works without Rin and Shiro absolutely bumbling around one another? Until they make their appearances, I can never wholeheartedly say that I think the collab was bang on. As it stands, it's missing quite a big void for me, and it just feels like it's incomplete. It needs my queen. And her king, I guess.
Again, seeping.
Shiro. It's fine. But really, come on, Starrail players, would you really actually pass up the chance on having this kind of woman in your game? I think
He is simping so hard.
Honestly, judging from a perspective that only purely sees how this has been for a gacha collab, I guess due to the kind of very low bar that the industry itself has set, but it's actually a decent collab overall, I guess. But it's Hoyo, it's UFO Table, it's the Fate series, and it's pretty much a one-in-a-decade type of opportunity. So if there are people who expected more, yeah, I mean, I'm with them. I genuinely wouldn't have minded if they actually needed more time and pushed it back just a little bit more to account for more content like what I kind of wanted, but hey, we got what we got, so what can we really do? At least Saber and Archer are very usable, so there are a lot of content scenarios where we do see them used quite often. Thanks for watching as usual. Hope you guys have a blessed day. Until the next video, the name's Liffy, and I'll see y'all next time.
I really like that he said blessed day. That was cool. So this is the GoatLiffy again. This is his channel. In fact, I'll go ahead and put it in the description. Should do that anyway. We're gonna like his video. I was prepared not to like his video because of the title, but I do not think it's the biggest wasted opportunity in gacha. I think this is a step forward. Like he said, it's better than any collab that you would get from any game most of the time, right? I think we should be happy with what we got. If we get more, then that's because of the fans' reception to what we got here. Let them know how great the collab was. And then maybe we will get more. Maybe we will get all this. But I think as a standalone collab, it's one of the best I've ever played. Again, I don't play a lot of gacha games, but the few I have played, this is the best collab I've ever seen. And the lore was solid. I was very happy with the collab. All right, well, that's it for me. We'll do more reaction videos sometimes too. And we'll check out more channels. Thank you, GoatLiffy, for making a fantastic video. I agree with most of your points. So a lot more than I thought I would. Thank you so much, man.